Hey everyone, Matt here from Dr. Running, and today we're going to do a comparison review, or should I upgrade episode, of the ASICS Gel Nimbus 26 versus the brand new ASICS Gel Nimbus 27, which might be my favorite Nimbus ever. So this is ASICS premium daily training neutral shoe that's been on the market for many, many years. It's been extremely popular for a variety of reasons, and not just for running. Really common shoe you'll see on the feet of people like myself in healthcare that are on hospital floors for long periods of time. Very common walking shoe. Also really common shoe for long daily miles if you want tons of comfort. Very common shoe for people running long distances like marathons, using a training shoe. It's not a racer, but it's just been a classically well-cushioned shoe for lots of miles if you don't want necessarily the lightest thing, but just want the ultimate comfort. Now, things have changed quite a bit in version 27. It may look somewhat similar, but they've changed the upper and they've definitely changed the sole. So the purpose of this video is to help you understand, hey, if you're interested in either one of these, which one might work better for you? And or if you are wearing a 26, should you consider upgrading to 27, or should you grab another pair of the 26 on sale? As always, let's start off with specs. So I'm doing my own size 10 measurements. So my men's size 10 over in the 26 comes in a little bit over 11 ounces, or about 312 grams. My size 10, which also feels noticeably lighter in hand, is coming in at 10.8 ounces, or about 306 grams in my, again, size 10. Stack height wise, there is 2 millimeters more over in the 27. Version 26 comes in at 41.5 in the heel, 33.5 in the forefoot for an 8 millimeter drop. Version 27 jumps that up a little bit to 43.5, 35.5 for an 8 millimeter drop still. And I would almost, I'm surprised it's only 2 millimeters, because this shoe feels quite a bit taller. And that's not the only thing that makes it feel different. So the sole and the ride, both of them are using the Flight Foam Blast Plus Eco. The version 26 has been noticeably soft, just like version 25. As soon as you step in, although it takes a second to break in, the foam just compresses really, really well underfoot. Yes, there's this big posterior heel bevel, which we'll talk about, or not, sorry, posterior heel flare. That's a little clunky in the rear foot, but the forefoot really nice and smooth and really plush underfoot and fairly soft. Not the softest on the market, but bounce on the softer side. Not for faster runs, just for easy miles. Things have changed a little bit over in the 27, even though it's a taller stack height, which also makes the shoe a lot stiffer, which is noticeable the second you put it on. I've got 20 miles on my pair. While it's breaking in, it's a little bit stiffer ride overall on the forefoot, but the heel is much better beveled. It's a posterior lateral heel. It's much larger than version 26. So one of the first times in an ASICS daily trainer, I'm not feeling a clunky heel over here. Transitions very nicely at the heel into a little stiffer forefoot, which makes it feel a little bit more snappy, whereas this was the opposite, where it's a little clunky heel and a smooth forefoot. Even though there's not a ton of flexibility in either of these, this one's transition a little smoother in the forefoot, clunkier in the heel. This one transitions much smoother in the heel and a little bit stiffer in the forefoot, which makes it feel a little bit more snappy underfoot. So if you want a little more cushion feel, the 26 is going to be the better option. If you want things to feel a little bit more snappy underfoot, the 27 is going to be a little better. I've been surprised I've actually been able to pick up the pace a little bit. Not a racing shoe, not a workout shoe, but something that feels just a little bit more responsive underfoot. And the foam is kind of the similar thing, where even though it's technically the same foam, this shoe feels much more compliant. Sole compresses underfoot really, really well. Not a bouncy shoe, not a shoe that feels really fast. This version, the foam feels more resilient, meaning, again, it's really highly cushioned, but there's more bounce from the sole, and it doesn't feel as mushy as version 26's. So if you want something that's, again, very protective, very plush shoe, but if you want something that's a little more bouncy, a little more snappy, version 27 is going to be the better option. If you want something a little softer and more relaxed, version 26 is going to be the better option. I personally really prefer the ride over in the 27 because it feels much more balanced. It also, because it's doesn't feel quite as soft, feels a little bit more inherently stable. Again, soles are wide. These are definitely both on the stable neutral side of shoes. 26 doesn't quite make it. 27 almost might make it, just because a little bit more rigidity, a little more stiffness makes the shoe feel just a teeny bit more stable, but they are still very neutral. And ASICS, I really hope you do the same treatment to the Keanu, because I'm really enjoying this shoe. So ride, again, a little bit different between the two of them. Durability seems to be really excellent between the two. I've got 20 miles on this one. I've got 40 miles on this pair, and I'm seeing no wear on the outsole, so I'm expecting a lot of miles out of these shoes because they seem to be doing really, really well. And I've done a variety of efforts already, picking up the pace a little bit in this one, doing easy runs, doing a little hill workout. It's really working well. It's a little bit more versatile, whereas a little bit more relaxed over in this version. From a walking standpoint, though, this one does feel a little bit more stiff, a little bit more firm, but again, also feels a teeny bit more stable, so it kind of mirrors what I'm feeling with the running. In terms of the fit, that's where things are also different. We went from a knit upper over in 26 to now a jacquard mesh upper, which hopefully I'm saying that right. Someone please correct me. I could barely speak half the time. The upper is also a little bit more snug in version 26 and opens up a little bit and gets a little bit wider in version 27. I have found a lot of Nimbuses to have kind of a tapered toe box, which again, some people might like a little more snug fit. This did actually wrap around and expand nicely with the foot, even though it's a little tapered. That's not as much of a thing in version 27, where it actually opens up a lot more. You do need to be careful. The toe guard has caused me some running, but there's a lot more room for the toes to actually sit in a more neutral position rather than being tapered. So if you need a little bit more room in the forefoot, 27 is going to be the better option. If you want something a little more snug, 26 is going to be the better option. And once you get into the heel and midfoot, things are actually fairly similar. They've got a similar, very thin, kind of knit-ish tongue that's really well gusseted and secures the midfoot very nicely. I have had to tie down the laces a little bit to get a secure fit, but once I do that, totally fine. And no heel slippage, because there's a ton of heel collar padding that, even though those really sensitive to heel collars, you should be careful with both these. I haven't had any issues because there's so much padding in both of them that they push my heel forward enough that I don't really notice the counter. So obviously, if you got sensitivities, try before you buy, but really nice plush uppers. This one's a little more snug and sock-like. 27 has a little bit more room. So both these are great shoes. This version goes up $5, so there's going to be an even bigger difference between trying to get the 26 on sale versus the 27. So I personally, for my mechanics, really am enjoying the 27. I'm going to try to get 100 miles on this shoe. I usually struggle with more softer, neutral shoes on getting that, but I think 27, I'm going to be able to do that. So I will report back after I get those miles and how this thing's evolved over time. But I'm really enjoying this shoe. It feels a teeny bit more stable, a little bit more stiff. The stack height is definitely noticeable, but it doesn't feel too wobbly because the foam's a little bit more resilient, whereas 26 is the one that's just a little softer, a little more relaxed, a little more snug. So you got to figure out which one works for you, but 27 is the one I am really enjoying. I'm really curious, again, seeing what's happening here. There's a lot of changes where a lot of shoes are actually moving that we thought were more traditional are moving into this super stack height category. So I want to know below, comment please, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Are you having similar experiences, different experiences? What were you hoping for from the 27? Is what I talked about similar or different than what I was looking for? If you've tried both of these, let me know what you're thinking. And again, as always, I hope this helps you make better decisions about what you put on your feet.